It's your girl Raw Tactics FPS. What is going on, my sexy cherubs? As you can see, I'm playing some Extinction, Exodus. You're about to see me like do the escape soon. This is just doing the last gate. Sometimes I don't usually do the last gate on this map. I normally like leave one or two doors slash gates. But I decided to do this gate. Recently I have been doing this gate just because it's just more of a score. Like, it's not like more of a challenge for me doing this. Like, I've played it so much that now I'm just kind of playing it just to kind of, build up more escapes and, it's not really a challenge for me anymore. But I still don't get bored of it. I still don't get bored of it, which is the most important thing. Um, I think at the moment, on PS3, I'm ranked, 120 something in the world for escapes on Exodus. Obviously for PS4 I'm not, because it resets obviously leaderboards once you move to the PS4. So obviously I don't have a great, because obviously I've played a lot on PS3 and I only came over to PS4 and started playing Exodus on PS4. Oh god, I'm trying to think now when I got my PS4. But it wasn't like as soon as PS4 came out or anything. Like, I kind of was still on PS3 at that point. So yeah, most of my escapes were on PS3. Um, but yeah, I've played it quite a lot. Today I just wanted to kind of talk about something that has been on my mind recently. I mean, it hasn't been on my mind, it hasn't been on my mind to the point where it's bothered me or anything. But it's just something to talk about, while you're watching this gameplay. And a lot of you probably have had this, particularly if you're females out there that may game and you're not doing it just for attention or whatever. This is obviously going to apply to you, what I'm about to say, and obviously it applies for people as well that want to get into it but just can't for whatever reason. It's not necessarily to do with sex, and what I'm talking about there is competitive gaming, whether it's Call of Duty or whether it's something else that you might like playing that you think you're pretty good at. Um, for me personally, I feel like I'm ready for that. And I know a lot of people are thinking, well, you might think you're ready, but are you good enough? Obviously I've got weaknesses just like every other player, whether it's Call of Duty or another game. Everyone has a weakness, and for me personally, I think that I can improve on my weaknesses and become a better player. And everyone has weaknesses. No matter how much of a good player you are, you have weaknesses. And I hate it when people are really cocky. They think, oh, like I'm better than everybody else. And yeah, that might be true, but then you'll go up against someone else and they'll be better than you. There's always someone better than you. You've got to think like that. And that's what I think. Even though, yeah, I think that maybe I might be good enough for maybe pro league, getting into a competitive tournament or GBs or UMGs, whatever it might be. Um, there's always going to be someone better than you, and you've got to keep that in mind. And you've also got to think about what your weaknesses are, what you need to improve on before you even think about just jumping straight into it. And you've also got to think, do I have a team? Like, a team is very important when you're thinking about getting into professional gaming. Whether it be, there's different types of professional gaming. If you don't really realize this, um, you haven't just got online tournaments, but then you've got even bigger than that. You've got, regional, and then you've got obviously the pro leagues. You've got that amateur. Um, People that like to play, and then you've also got the pros. And obviously for me, it's kind of got to the point now where I feel like I'm very good at what I'm good at, and then obviously my weaknesses I could probably improve on. But obviously without a good team, you're kind of stuck. Obviously you can't, not unless you're going to do 1v1s maybe, on GBs or whatever it might be, or most of the time you need a team if you want to kind of progress. And I think a lot of people find it hard to find a team, a decent team. For me, it's pretty hard because I mean I live in the UK, so I mean personally I don't think that it's as big as what it is in the US. where you have a lot of, most of the big competitive teams in Call of Duty are like, for example, Optic, FaZe, you know, and they're both US teams primarily, I would say. And yeah, so when you think about it, it's very difficult to kind of consider or becoming involved in the professional uh, scene when there isn't a really very big. I know there are obviously UK teams out there that are in the same division, but it's just the fact that they're not as big, should I say. So yeah, it's much more harder to get into it. I don't obviously know that obviously in the US you've got tournaments that happen and you can go and to get tickets and go and watch. We don't really have that much over here, I don't think. Um, but yeah, and obviously the recent Black Ops 3 World League has kind of shone a little bit of light on the fact that there should be females competing. It's not, to me personally, I don't think that gaming should be sexist in any sort of way. It's not technically a physical sport, so I don't think that females and males should be separate in that sense. I think that females can be just as good and compete at exactly the same level if they really, if they're up for the challenge, if they know that they want to do it and they are committed to it. They play a lot. They don't want to just, I think the reason why a lot of females maybe don't get into it as much is maybe because they want to focus on other things. They might have boyfriends or they might want to have kids or whatever it might be. But I think that's kind of a stereotypical way of looking at it. I think there is plenty of other females out there apart from me that are childless and has enough time on their hands, because you've got to bear in mind that training with when it comes to competitive, you need to have a lot of time to be able to practice with your team and build that communication. Make sure you know exactly what your role is uh, in your team and work out team dynamics and everything. And obviously, it takes a lot of work and a lot of practice to improve and build as a team. So, that's one reason why sometimes females are not in the competitive. But obviously, as we know, there was a first in this World League. There was a female competing in Australia on one of the Australian teams, which I think was a great. When I read about that, I was pretty happy about that, reading about that. Uh, sadly, I don't think they did very well. um, but it was just the fact that to be able the fact that it was possible for her to be in the team and she was at that level and she could compete just exactly like anybody else was a great thing. And I actually think that props to her, the fact that she actually was involved in that. And when that happens, obviously it makes you think, well, obviously I wish I could do that kind of thing. um, but yeah, so when it comes to the professional scene, the competitive side of it, it would be great if females actually weren't just, swept aside, overlooked. And I think it's also to do with the fact that I think sometimes people assume that females are not going to be good enough. I think everyone can improve. It depends really what kind of level you start at, and then obviously you work on your weaknesses, as what I've already said. When it comes to finding a team, obviously for me, I'm finding it difficult to find, should I say, a competitive, permanent team. I've had clans before, and I've had people that I've played a lot with, but to be honest, clans are different from competitive because sometimes it's just pub stomping, and that's not exactly the same, is it? As competitive, obviously it's a completely different, you know, completely different thing. Competitive and pub stomping on a game for fun. And yeah, so I mean, unfortunately, I've never actually done GBs, and that's the thing. I'd love to do it just to see how I would compare. The thing is, at the moment with me, is like I've already said, recently I've said to a few people that have brought it up to me that at the moment this is kind of like my gap year. This is when I'm kind of reassessing what I want to do, and reassessing if maybe I am good enough. And then when the next Call of Duty comes out, Call of Duty 2016, I will decide then whether or not I want to kind of get into it for, seriously. And then obviously I'll have to have a team that will be obviously willing to practice quite a lot. We're talking about maybe 10 to 18 hours a day. Uh, and yeah, so it's all a lot of work to kind of think about, and that's why, you've got to be serious about it if you do want to do competitive, because you don't want to kind of just go into it and then kind of maybe have a team that you don't really communicate well with, and then everything just goes to shit. When you go into the game, everything just goes to shit. You can't communicate properly. Everyone's doing their own thing. People don't know call outs. That type of shit is just going to get you losing games straight away, and you don't want that. Obviously, you want to win and keep building. But guys, I love to make videos for you, and that's my main goal at the moment, is to make videos and carry on doing it. Uh, and obviously, it's something on my mind recently, and it's obviously something to discuss with you guys, just so you kind of know where my head's at the moment. I've also recently kind of had a little bit of a phase where I've kind of been thinking, is YouTube right for me? A lot of YouTubers have that phase. They kind of think, should I just stop making videos? Uh, is anybody appreciating what I make? Is anyone even, does anyone even care? Does anyone even enjoy my videos? Uh, it's very easy to get that mindset, because when you spend a lot of time on the videos, we're talking about at least 8 hours a day editing. Obviously it's different for streamers because you can just live stream, put it on, there you go, it's done, and you don't do any editing or anything. um, so it's all very simple with live streaming. Obviously with making videos it takes a lot of time to do the editing side of it, and the commentary, music, um, thinking about what to talk about, etc. So it takes a lot of time. So when people don't appreciate or notice or even care about your videos, it's very easy to get into that mindset. Shall I just stop making videos and just stop doing my channel, stop uploading? There's plenty of YouTubers that's been stuck in their head. Sometimes people do stop. Maybe they just, have other commitments that maybe they need to sort out, and they've got other things that they need to do, or maybe they've just realised that maybe YouTube's just not for them. For me, I love doing it, so it's not the fact that I would stop just because it's not for me. It's just the fact that I feel like I spend a lot of time and don't really seem to be getting any sort of response from you guys. Please comment down below if that's wrong and you actually do love my videos. If you don't, then that's fine. But yeah, we all get that. But anyways, guys, this whole video was just to kind of talk about obviously the competitive side of gaming, and obviously to discuss where my head is at right now. Obviously leave a like, comment, subscribe. I really appreciate your support. As I've said already, I need that support to carry on going, just so I know that people are watching and enjoy it. uh, but thanks guys for watching, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.